Welcome to another message from the mountain. I've got another little short lesson that will probably sum up the very short series that we have on the Passover. These don't even really touch so much of the meaning of the Passover. I urge you, if you have a chance, and we have one of the Passover classes where we take you completely through the Seder, and you see Yeshua, you see Jesus Christ so much in every part of it, and as you go through it, you come into a deeper understanding. A deeper understanding of who Jesus Christ is to the church today, who He is to us. And that's all what Passover is about. It's a yearly reminder of what Jesus Christ is to us, and for us to remember Him and to do it in a remembrance of His death until He comes. That's the commandment in 1 Corinthians 11:26. We're going to take a look right now on the last two things I want to touch base with. In the Passover, you have some salt water, and you have some parsley. And you at close to the first of the Seder, you take this parsley, and traditionally the Jewish tradition is you dip it in the water twice. And the reason in doing this, you dip it once in the salt water for the tears of the people that was crying out to God in slavery to deliver them. The second time you dip it is a reminder of the children of Israel crossing the Red Sea. But we kind of go ahead and dip it a third time, because I think it's important for us to remember our Savior, Lord and Jesus Christ, who shed the tears in the Garden of Gethsemane, that it was such a strain on Him that His sweat became as the drops of blood. So we dip it the third time to remember His agony in the garden. So you dip that 3 times and you eat it. There's another part of some things that you eat, and it's called the bitter herbs, and then you got chosette, which is apples, honey, and nuts. I love this part. You take a piece of matzah, and the way I try to have everybody do it is so that it will come to visualize what Jesus done for us. The bitter herbs represent the bitterness of bondage. It's for the children of Israel, it was to remind them of the bitterness of bondage in Egypt. But for us today, it's to remember the bitterness of sin that was in our life. And the corset is apples, honey, and nuts. And this is a representation of Jesus Christ, the sweetness of the Lord and His salvation. I want to read something here. Colossians 1:16 and verses 16 and 17, it says, "For by Him were all things created that are in heaven and that are in earth, visible and invisible, whether it be thrones or dominions or principalities or powers. All things were created by Him and for Him, and He is before all things, and by Him all things consist." Now, this word consist means to stand together, to be in a fixed or permanent state, as a body composed of parts in union or connection. It holds everything. Everything in the universe is held together by Jesus Christ. And this apple, nuts, and honey represents in the Passover Seder as the mortar that they used to put the bricks together in Egypt. That's pretty awesome. And now for us, it represents Jesus Christ that holds everything together. Everything that exists is held together by Jesus Christ. What we like to do is take a piece of matzah, and I have everybody put some bitter herb, the horseradish, on one end. And this is very, very strong horseradish. It's very, very strong. It's made to bring tears to your eyes. And then on the other end of the matzah, I have them to put the apples, nuts, and honey, which represents Jesus Christ. So on this piece of matzah, you have horseradish, the bitter herb, which represents the bitterness of sin. And on the other end, you have the apples, honey, and nuts that represents the sweetness of Jesus Christ. Now, what I have everybody do, now, it's left up to each individual. When they bite the horseradish, they can immediately turn it around and take a bite of the apple, nuts, and honey. And that apple, nuts, and honey takes away the sting of the bitter herb. Instantly. Takes it away. And it's just like sin in our life. You know, it's up to us as individuals when we are partaking of, when we was out in the world partaking of sin, it was up to us how quickly we wanted to receive the sweetness of Jesus Christ. And the strange thing is, when you bite into that bitter herb, this flesh, now even though that you know that you can turn that matzah around and take away, take a bite of something that will take that bitterness and that sting away, your body will react in a way that it's like it gets shocked by that sin to where you can't hardly even turn that around and take a bite real quick. Your body fights you to do that. You know, and it's the way the flesh fights the spirit. It even in our spiritual life, the flesh fights our spirit. So it's left up to the person how quick. Do you want to just chew on the horseradish and suffer? Or do you want to take a bite of Jesus Christ and eliminate that sin? And I try to explain in the Passover Seder, it's the way in our lives. Do you want to suffer in sin? Or do you want the sweet taste of Jesus Christ in your life? Excuse me. So, after this point, we usually break and have a dinner and everything through this part. The whole process of doing the Passover Seder is, like I say, it's to show you in your life what Jesus Christ is. And I hope that when I put on Facebook that I'm having a Passover Seder class, I hope, even if you want to come to Passover on Passover, I hope that you'll show up and come to a deeper understanding. Thank you.
Don't believe that I would find my pathway to the sky. Don't believe that I